What is up, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, day traders, cloud swing traders? Hope you guys are doing absolutely fantastic. I got my trading view lagging today, like hardcore. I don't know why, but let's see. Let's see if I can get it to speed up. I did the whole refresh thing. I did all that today too. I don't know. Um, you know what? Let's go to this one. I'm just gonna exit out of it completely and just restart it up. Because that's like a monster slow one. It is slower than GDP coming in. Let's see. Let's try this one. Trading view. There we go. Now it's cooking with gas. All right. All right. We're live. We're back. What is happening? We got Albert in the house. Good morning to Anna. Andres, good morning. Bill, Brian, Corey, Donna, Jason, good morning to Jay, Jeff, Joe, JT's in the house. Good morning to Lou, Lucian, Marius, Nate, Tim Thurman's in the house. Good morning to you as well. All my people out in YouTube land. Good morning to all you. I saw Clarice coming in nice and early. Good morning to Jet, Richard Jet. I just call you Jet, like Jet Li, I guess. I don't know. Richard Jet, good morning. All the lurkers in the background. Good morning to all you guys. Make sure you guys hit the like and subscribe buttons. Jeff is coming in with Amazon, that inverted daily hammer from yesterday. All right, we'll take a look at that one as well. We got SPY. So SPY is gapping down a little bit. Could have been worse. We had GDP report that came in light. So PCE on Friday's now going to be a little bit more important. So I think the market definitely wants to move probably after that. I don't know. You got the GDP slowing down. We got a little sign of, little sign of stagflation. Although Jerome Powell said there's no inflation. It's not even a thought on his head right now. Maybe it should be. Maybe it should be. a little concerning on the data. Again, it's very hard to go. Okay, we got one data point, and we're gonna go from here. But we dipped down right at 8 a.m. A lot of this, I think, I don't know if all these prints are absolutely correct. A lot of this comes from after hours trading with Robinhood. So this is the settlement trades that they take last night. They throw them in. So it's hard to really accept those as real prints for pretty much everything at 8 a.m. We have to kind of see after that where things move to. But 8:30, we had the GDP come out. That one came in again pretty light. The market liked it. We got a little bit of a rally, still not enough to get us back to the close of yesterday. We already know man's land, so flip a coin from here. This is a technical gap and go from yesterday, but most of this candle, actually the entire candle, is a retest candle from here. We didn't quite get up there, so still looking a little bit weaker. We got the 20 coming in. We got good support somewhere around 523.38. So that would be my downside. Maybe the moving average, maybe that support from those VPOCs, those volume areas could kind of bring it back up. Otherwise, probably just looking to the close of yesterday. It was the first spot, 525.65, and then the volume zone somewhere around 526.39. But yeah, and still now we have a clear breakdown of this candle. Today's candle going to be fairly important. To get a bullish engulfing candle, we kind of cover up all of yesterday. We start making our path back to probably some of those 529.34s. All right, we have a different market on our hands. Otherwise, I think we are still leaning a little bit more bearish. We were leaning bearish yesterday, looking for some kind of fades. Most of the morning was fades, and then we kind of gave it back toward the afternoon. So it did play out like we thought. And again, we are in no man's land. I'm looking for a little bit more of this to be a retest as opposed to a gap and go. So I am looking for a fade, but maybe we can get some kind of initial sell-off. Maybe a little panic at open. We'll see. We got earnings tonight on DELL. So DELL's been going absolutely crazy. I know I got the cues up, but that's gonna be a big one. So DELL is gonna be a big report for tonight. And then again, we have numbers coming in tomorrow morning before the bell. So PCE would be the second factor. And if we get a 1-2 punch, we can move pretty big in either direction. But Dell has to absolutely crush it for that to, I think, carry on. We got Qs. Uh, Qs pretty much opening flat to where we closed, down very, very slightly. So not a big move in Qs. They're still kind of hanging in there. Looking for support 454.92. To the higher side, we got one little level, 456.13, and then 457.24. So a little bit more tighter action on Qs. We might have a little bit more more of that stag than we do inflation on Qs. Could get held up. We got a bunch of key levels, and if we start breaking down, I still got another one, 454.61 and 452.90. I'm not really expecting a big move on Qs. If we start breaking through some of those key levels, we could definitely get some follow through just leading up into some Dell earnings tonight. But a little bit tighter range on the Qs than it is for the SPY, which is in no man's land. And then the bonds completely broke down yesterday. So not a great open. We didn't really follow through. The one saving grace is we did get held up. We closed right at that pretty key support. Today we're gapping up a tad. But the bonds, the longer term bonds have all been coming in with higher rates, which is also not a great sign. Not a great sign for the overall market. So underlining the underbelly of the market, there's some worry. There's some worry. But I don't know if we have enough to really just shake the buy the dippers. We'll see. Amazon. So Jeff says Amazon with that inverted hammer yesterday. Yeah, pretty crazy hammer. We got through the 20 EMA. That turned out to a trap. I mean, every time we've tried to make a move so far, we've been getting kind of these rando wicks. We are opening below that candle as well. I do think to the short side will be good. But I don't know how far. We do have one more moving average. I believe this is the 50. Somewhere at 180.78. Before that, I have 181.23, and then I'm looking at 180.67. Again, the Q's tight range, SPY's a little bit more to the wide open. I think we probably still have some kind of. I don't know if we open today and it's just a straight flush. If we start, usually a straight flush is good if you're playing Texas Hold'em. I don't know why it's got such a bad connotation. I don't know, but yeah, I don't know. My The real key would be if we start breaking down this candle from 2 days ago. So from Tuesday. All of this was just one big retest candle. And we probably end up with a little bit more chop on Amazon today, I think. But that is a notable hammer. For the bullish case, if we start breaking out of this candle, then we've had a good pullback. We could also go fibs on this too. So let's throw some fibs up here. See if this is any type of notable area we're bouncing in. I watched a clip of Jeff Bezos on Jay Leno from back in the day, and Jay Leno's trying to figure out. He's like, "So you guys are a $1 billion company, but you don't make money." I'm confused. He's like, "Yeah, well, we don't make money, but we have lots of sales." And Jay's like, "Oh." The Jay Leno laugh. We got Amazon, so yeah, we're closer to 50. We're just struggling with that 38 retracement. So anything above that would be decent. 182.95 would be to the probably the high side today. I'd be looking for, but I think we could get a little more chop, but definitely notable hammer, for sure. Trapped probably some bulls, I would assume on that. We got FL. They're still under short-term notes though. Yeah, they're still under the short-term notes, for sure. Which is a little topsy-turvy. If it depends on what I think I did what was it, a 2-month? I don't know if I think I did a 3-month. That was on Tuesday. That came in at like 5.6. So yeah, they're still a little bit under, but the creeping up is not good. And then also if they do continue to creep up and it's either the short term just kind of remains roughly in the same direction, like the same levels, and eventually they do break higher. That's not great, but then we have the short term. If the short term just creeps up, now you're getting 5, 6, 7% eventually. Depends on how well those bonds move short term. And it's like, do I want to take the risk at the market all time highs, or do I just want to lock in this even 5.6 to 7? It keeps some money out of the actual stock market. We got Foot Locker, nice little gap up. Was this earnings? Yep. So they beat by 86%, so 10 cents. They did miss on the revenue side of things. Did they have good guidance? Because that's not their best numbers. Let me see one more thing. I don't think short float Finviz. Let's see. Let's check that short float out. I don't think they have a big one. They got 11% short float. Huh. 11% short float. You're into the 200 EMA on a daily. Jerome Nelson's on YouTube land. What's up, Jerome? Scintilla's here too. Um, well, we saw what happened with Chewy. We're definitely in that type of market. We're right at that 200. You do have a little bit of resistance around 2610. I think the short float, what was the short float on Chewy? I think that was 16. I think they had like a 16.7. So now we're at 11 on this one. Targets to the higher side, 2689. But we are trapping a decent amount of people on this one too. And then if we could really get going, I'd be looking for targets around 28. So I'll push this one higher. The only thing I would say that is appealing for me to look to go long is the fact that short float is relatively high. Otherwise, if it was all normal, no high short float, I would be looking at that 200, looking at resistance there, and then looking for probably some resistance from some of these VPOCs around 2614. But that short float could creep in. We could get a little squeezy on Foot Locker for sure. So we'll keep that high on the list. I don't know if I want to fade that one. I guess I wouldn't mind for fade played into the hands of the 11%, but I would need some kind of candle or significant break at open. We got PayPal. Decent gap up on PayPal. Still a lot of resistance. We still got all those moving averages ahead of us. I got my real big volume zone somewhere around 63.32. That's a spot we're gonna have to clear through. Was there news on PayPal? This Datadog analyst turns bullish. Here's why. So they had a couple positive markets. They have a 50% upside. I've been saying that for how long? And I think my number's a little higher than that too, but I'll give them the right to revise the report when we get there. But yeah, good little gap up on this one. This is not a great looking close. We almost came into the support zone somewhere around $60.63, but nonetheless, decent gap. Should be looking to hold 62.06. I would be looking at the wick from 2 days ago, so Tuesday, May 28th. Look for the top of that wick. If we start to break out there, we probably have a little bit more room, but again, not much into that 63.32. But it could be starting something maybe for a little longer term. We got that's probably your ABC 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That could be a 5 wave count. So if you're looking for a swing, your real confirmation, you're gonna start to get once you get past that 63.35, probably break through retest. But we'll throw PayPal higher. Try to play that in the bullish again. The SPY, I am kind of looking for that overall retest on the SPY. So maybe. HPQ, we got Tesla Coin, Palantir. Yeah, Palantir got some news. HPQ. I thought that was all-time highs for a second. I was like, why? What are you doing? Let's see. It looks like they just got the earnings. So decent earnings. Almost. So they got 1% beat on earnings per share. Nothing too crazy on that, but it was a beat. And then you have 193 million beat to the upside on revenue. Starting to get pushed into a little bit of this straight up chop zone. And we're at the bottom of it now. Let me see if there's any other. There's not a lot of volume in the zone, so really the next spot that we got to look for is probably somewhere in this 35, 36. Yeah, I'd say 30, 35.76 to 35.50. So we'll call it 35.60. Gives us a little bit more room up there. Otherwise, yeah, a couple of those VPOCs start coming in there too. And then if we could break out of that, next real target's probably about 36.60. So has a little bit of room, definitely a little bit of consolidation. I think some people might want to take some profits on this one. We also did buy like the trend. Somebody's reporting earnings for the most part. You're just going in long. So there's definitely a lot of people profitable on this one. I think we're probably looking for a little bit more of a fade on HPQ. I'm surprised this one's not on my list. Let's add this one. I would also go if I was in this one, right? And a lot of times that's probably the best way to kind of look at a stock. If I was in this one and I caught this one anywhere lower, do I want to ride my HPQ out or take my gains? We have Dell earnings tonight. So if Dell gets killed, I mean they reported okay, it wasn't bad. But if Dell gets killed, I think that probably moves a lot of these guys. HPQ is probably a sympathy to it. And I'd probably want to get out ahead of earnings. I already made my gains here on that nice run up plus this gap. So yeah, I'd probably be looking for a fade and then just watching Dell to see if I want to re-enter at all. Tesla had a gap up too. We played Tesla. Some of you guys, Tesla was a weird one yesterday. Some of you guys made some money on it. Some of us got stopped. When I say some of us, me, we both had the same exact stop exit, and it looked like it came like a penny below. But for some reason, they took my shares. If they didn't, I would have been with you guys, and that one definitely came into targets. A little bit of a gap up here for sure. This is also a retest from yesterday and at resistance. I like the fact that we are starting to break out of this downtrend. We were watching this one pretty closely yesterday, or at least started to take some note of it. So we have a good, pretty much consolidation, descending triangle, pennant pattern type thing. I think at open, it would make a lot of sense for us to get held up right at open, somewhere around 179. So I would be looking for a little bit of a pullback. Maybe that comes into 176.57. And I don't think that's a horrible spot if you're trying to say, hey, we broke out. We're going to probably come in, retest that downtrend line, retest into that little support zone. So somewhere around 176.57, I think would get you a better spot. And I wouldn't be too concerned about looking for some type of swing trade on it as well. But yeah, see if we get the fade. If we start breaking immediately out of the gate and we start getting candles closing above 179.28, you still got one more resistance. That's going to take you to 180.70, but then you get a decent push to like 185.12. I want to see what kind of candles we get. If we get some profit taking, this is a retest gap. So I like it. I think if we're patient enough with it, maybe we're not taking it right at open and we could catch some kind of a pullback wherever that might be. I'm starting to like that consolidation. If we are breaking out of that downtrend, I don't mind trying to play some Tessie. We'll see. Coinbase. Let's see what that one's doing today. Yep. We got Kevin saying BBY and Santilla saying BBY. ANF. Abercrombie and Fitch. Coinbase. Let me just get some of these lines off the chart. It's a gap and go from yesterday's little down day. We know this was kind of a breakout candle. This was a retest, good retest of that support 234.07. We did hold from there. I like where this one's opening. We still got 9 minutes till the open. We're opening right above that last little VPOC. If we could do that, and it is a mini gap and go from yesterday, maybe some people got trapped. We haven't really hit this target yet. So look for about 248.22. Yeah, if we get a high wave on that one, I'll probably play it. And then we got close to that before. We didn't quite get to that 248 zone. But if we can break through it, we could see 256.44 today. So that one's got some good room on it. And really, this is an inside resting day after 2 monster days of breakouts. So I think the trend is running to the bullish side. Yeah, I wouldn't be opposed to that one. Palantir, so they did. I texted one of my friends when the deal came out, and he had a good point. He had a good point. I was like, yeah, they had a $480 million contract with the Army. I think there was one other deal in there too yesterday that came out. The Army contract came out after the bell. It was like 10 minutes after the bell, something like that. He's like, I don't really understand why Palantir runs after every time they get a contract. He's like, that's a little silly. I was like, why? What are you talking about? He's like, because every other business, and he's got a good point. He's like, every other business, like you predict your financials of like how well you think you can do, like how much money you think you're gonna get, what's the rate of return, like. But on this one, this company in particular, it's like yeah, that should be priced in of like, okay, well, we made some money for the quarter, great. But this one's like, all right, we closed the deal, and then the market wants to react how it reacts to every single deal that comes in. So it is a little strange. That being said, we are making higher lows. That's decent on these pivots. It's not a horrible location. We are slightly above this candle, which is not bad. Targets on this one, again, I don't know that this is like news of like if we were opening anywhere above 2180, somewhere in that zone, then we're breaking that pivot. Otherwise, we're still in this little downward kind of just shop zone, little triangle. We're right at the top of it. I would see if we could get a fade on this one first. It's not a horrible location. We're definitely above that kind of last VPOC from May 20th. And then targets I do have to about 2175. If this thing wants to run a little bit further, 2180. And if we start breaking 2180, I'm looking for like 2318. But there's a lot of resistance on the way up. Technically a little retest. Let's see if we get a pullback first. And it's been struggling with the $21 range. Now that this is a pretty sturdy open above it. So let's see, maybe come back down, test 21, and then that might be a spot to try to play Palantir. But let's put this one higher on the list too. Let me check out this BBY because I have not checked that one out, but multiple requests on it. So let's check out BBY, which probably has interesting short float on it. Let's see. Before I even look at the chart. BBY. 7%. So Foot Locker's got more short float on it. But that is still decent short floats. That volume candles yesterday, that's probably from the earnings. This one was here. We're definitely trapping any of those guys. That was a good breakdown candle. Do we have range on this one? The first stop I got is about 78.23. After that, we're probably looking for about just under $80. So that still gives us a little bit of room to the higher side. Do I want to play a fade on this one? No, but what I would like to see, I'm not going to play the fade and go against the short. Seven's still a decent short float. I would love to see a pullback. I don't know if I get it, but 76.40 kind of come in, retest that zone. Otherwise, the secondary stop 75.77. Some of the shorts probably trapped. Are we taking out this pivot too? Yeah. I'd want to remain bullish on this one. So let me just add this one to my list real quick. I'd even consider a high wave play. So we get a 3-minute high wave candle. Chewy did not give us that yesterday. It just kind of broke pre-market and ran. Let's get this one decently high on the list. Lucian says government contracts would be good for forward guidance for the day. They would be. Yeah, depends on what the cancellation rate is, but anything government wise, anything government wise is usually a little bit like longer term. They typically renew. They typically pay whatever asking price is, and even pay higher sometimes. It's like, I'll give you an extra 50 million. You know, 50 million for you, 50 million for you. But yeah, government contracts are good. They're nice. They're safe. Like once you got them, you got them. Like it's you don't have to worry about cancellation or I mean, I was gonna say, or the government going broke, but based on how they spend, who knows? I don't know. But um, the bigger thing is, and they started with, and that was one of the big key issues with Palantir, is that one time all they had was government contracts. So now they're starting to get into a little bit more of the private contracts. So I think it would have reacted a little bit better if it was like a big $480 million contract from Amazon or something like that. I think would have been a much higher pop. Nonetheless, it's still good business. It's still good. And they got a lot of cash in the bank, so they're not really spending it. They're hoarding. NTNX earnings look decent. 67% beat to the higher side. You have 8.6 million in revenue. The government has been broke. The debt works in mysterious ways. NTNX. This has to be due to guidance. We did also have a monster run up on this one. So nothing but a straight shoot up from well, I mean, this is all-time highs as well. Yeah. So the earnings were not really bad. I'm sure that there's going to be a buying opportunity. I don't like the fact that we got past this 63.78, so that does look a little bit weaker. Most likely, I think we probably fade this one into the 63, 65 zone. So if we get back into this 63, 65, I think that would be decent. The Bulls really have to hold on to 61.15. I think that's the next big location. And if it starts to drop from there, you got 57.19. But that volume zone is going to be a tough one to break through again. And it is a massive gap down on good earnings. So I'm guessing guidance was a little bit to the weak side, but either that or they just had that monster bar to break. So I don't know too much about this company though. Nutanix. Technology software, package software. But yeah, it should hold here. This is probably more of a fade. I don't think it's going to be a monster fade up to like 71, but you get to 73 if it stretches. Maybe you could run it up to like 6. I keep saying 70s, but 65, something to that zone. We got like 1 minute left. See a Baba on the list. You know you got my heart when you say Baba. But Baba not doing too much today. Yep. So a little bit of gap down. You're still holding on to that 200 on the daily. We still got some moving averages kind of all over the place. Good location, 50% retracement. Looks like we're slightly underneath it, and we use that as a resistance for yesterday as well. A little bit lower. Where I'm looking to buy more is probably somewhere close to the 76, 76 if we get down there. For me personally, so I'm hoping we get some pullback to get a bigger position for me. But that is the morning bell. So I appreciate everybody out on YouTube land for joining us each and every day. Make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe button if you have not done so already. Also, if you want to share it like with a friend and be like, hey friend, and then share it to them, and then they'll listen to me one day, then you could ask them like, hey, are we still friends, or was that crossing the line?